This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Hello and welcome to the iRacing Esports Network and the Dynamic Simracersworld GT Championship presented by Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick, and alongside me for this evening's racing is Marco Balbonera, and you can see we are here at the legendary Bathurst circuit. Marco, last time out we were at Daytona, another circuit which has hosted a special event recently on iRacing. And so once again, these drivers should know their way around this very tricky course.
Exactly. Hello everyone, hello Sam. Well, another track that these drivers are super familiar with, another track that these drivers certainly, uh, you know, recognize the history, the importance. There are some drivers who really had a fantastic round one, some drivers who had a less than spectacular round one. So different stories all throughout the field. This is going to be a good one. I think that we are in for a fantastic hour of racing and a bit more because session is running a bit late. Therefore, we are still in the final few seconds of practice before we enjoy full qualifying here from Mount Panorama.
Yeah, absolutely. Should be good to dig our teeth into, because last time out at Daytona it was a really good qualifying where PJ Clayson's put in a phenomenal time to go to pole position. It was a great round last time at Daytona. Of course, Mark Van Lee's not two-time defending champion, Marco. He didn't get to a good start, however. I mean, he was in third place on the grid, and then, of course, had that crash on the first lap of the race. And this circuit is almost the worst circuit I think you can come after a tricky round like that, because it can so easily repeat itself. There's not many circuits like this in the world where it is so much up in the air, because we saw Josh Thompson in the World GT Championship on the iRacing Esports Network just over a week ago get taken out from the lead. And it is so tricky, as Van Liesnoord is now exhibiting, to get clean laps, to get a clean race, that he could potentially be on a very low amount of points going into round 3 if today doesn't go his way.
Absolutely. And before we start this 20 minutes of qualifying, let me give a massive shout out to Ian Roots, who announced this week he's stepping away from full-time competition and race directing for this series. Of course, he will remain the Simracersworld boss, and of course the figure to which everyone will look at. But big changes coming behind the scenes. There will be a new Pro Series director, of course, a big hello also to our stewards. But if I can, for one final time, and I know he's always been very light-hearted with our jokes. Might have been number 11 on track, Sam, but always number 1 in our hearts, Ian Roots.
Absolutely. I mean, who's going to finish 11th now? I mean, can they just not finish 11th? Can we just have 10th place and 12th place and not have an 11th? I mean, who knows? It's going to be crazy today. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, but best of luck to Ian. Some real world stuff going on, which of course needs to always take priority. But yeah, he'll still very much be involved, and hopefully next season he'll maybe be back properly driving again and finally take that silver class title. He's been unlucky the fact that he's just about made it into the gold class season after season. This season he was in the silver, and he really had a decent chance at maybe winning the title or a top 3. But no, hopefully we see him back very soon. Of course, was very active on the Simracersworld Endurance Series on last Sunday. So yeah, we'll certainly speak to him very soon. Ollie Slade, I think he might be leading at the moment, because he's going to be the first one to cross the line and start his lap, the 250 car. And of course, didn't get he got a decent start, to be fair, Mark. I think last week did also. Didn't see too much of him, but it's tricky jumping into a series like this where everyone kind of knows one another. These so many veterans, 70% retainership, of course, from season to season in this championship, one of the highest we see in all of iRacing series. And so to jump in as a new driver, it can be a little bit daunting. It does take a few rounds to really get up to speed.
Absolutely. We see hello to our race stewards tonight. As you can see on the screen, Anton Dupin and Seb Berberer. Nice job to be, the first guy straight out of the box and trying to get one clean lap in, because traffic could be a big issue around here. You don't have, many. You don't risk a lot of places for off tracks around here. I mean, usually it's the wall that really kills your lap. So getting a banker in straight away could be the winning move for Ollie Slade. As we see other drivers here, Pin Bao. Nice to have him back. I think he missed the first couple of rounds, if I am not mistaken. But more importantly, let me see if I put him in the right category. Yes, I have. Bronze class for him. Yeah, let's see. Of course, in a bit you will see on the left side of the screen the lap times will start populating. PJ Claessens is also last second joining us. I think he very, very recently joined the server. I was commentating on another platform last night. Himself and another guy we are all very familiar with, Dion Phillips here. They were fighting tooth and nail in Interlagos for the GTE class win in another championship. And well, PJ prevailed, and PJ needs all the confidence he can after, of course, that controversial start of the season in Daytona.
Definitely. I mean, I still need to make a race highlights package. I've started it, but I'll post it on the Apex Racing TV Facebook page, so certainly do give that a like. And you can see all the highlights from Daytona, because a lot happens. It was Danny Crows who won out in the end. Extremely impressive, but it was kind of those guys who did end up finishing the race. So many retirees that they've got a handy advantage in the championship. Martin van Liesnoord, though, car number 1, going to the top of the standings at the moment, but not by a big margin. Just the first lap times currently being set by drivers in the championship. Of course, only 1 round so far. This is a 12-round series where drivers can have one job score as well, so they can miss one round. So Van Lutenau might still get a perfect score. Who knows? But Danny Craze, of course, won out last time. Ben Palmer and James Forsyke in second and third, both on their debuts. Then Lewis Ward trying to emulate 2 seasons ago when he started the season with 3 consecutive 5th place and then 3 consecutive 4th places. Well, he started off pretty well so far. So 4th place there. Ashley Beard in 5th, and Tom Methil in 6th. Hank, Boland, Cooper, and Mujdi rounding out the top 10. Hank is the top of the silver drivers, by the way, and Justin Nager top of the bronze drivers. So certainly did seem to be very competitive in those 2 classes. Steve Clay's a little bit more detached. It's almost good in this situation, Mark, I think, because you got 20 minutes, you got a decent amount of time to go out by yourself. We saw a lot of drivers rush out of the pits as soon as possible, but can sometimes be better just to leave it for a minute and get a nice half of the track all to yourself.
Yes, I mean, it's another way of looking at it. Like you sacrifice a bit of time overall, but yeah, we have a saying here in Italy of the smart departures. When it's like the big day, the first day of a big like holiday period. Instead of going for your destination, the best time possible, you like wait a bit and you maybe you go start your trip at night, and so you have basically no traffic, so yeah, this could be something that these drivers will do. David Fuller is looking to really get rid of a bad cloud on top of him since he switched to the silver class last year, and he is certainly looking to get back to where he belongs. We know he has the pace, he hasn't had the luck, like you were saying last week, Sam. He's back into his beloved Mercedes, and that car has a fantastic livery, new team name, Quantum Racing. I absolutely love that color scheme. Hopefully he will do in wonders. Daytona again got involved in some shenanigans. And speaking of shenanigans, we cannot say shenanigans without saying Bathurst. It's gonna happen. It's impossible to not happen. We have a little bit of drama here, especially in the first few laps, and this can really change the way the race will pan out in the end, because if you are one of the lucky ones who can escape the drama, you can straight away create a massive gap to your opponents. But if you are stuck in the traffic jam behind, your race can be seriously compromised.
Yeah, it's absolutely true, and hopefully well, we might get a safety car. I'm not sure if that's, I don't think we've ever had a safety car in this series, dare I say. I stand to be corrected by any historians on this championship, because season 6 we're into now. Yeah, certainly that may well be needed. I think in the Aussie Mixed and Fixed a GT series a couple of weeks ago, we needed 3 safety cars in a 45-minute race. And that was going to be a 90-minute race until some server issues. So, I mean, that could have been absolutely disastrous if that one had gone ahead.
I was reading through the group, and apparently there will not be safety cars in this race.
Oh, okay.
But we are waiting for. I mean, because they are not, I think, in the rule book. As Ashley Beard, provisional pole, and Ewan Marshall jumps into second place. So Van Loosener now is down to third. Can he improve? As Jack Ashton is the best of the silver drivers, as you can see, sitting in fact, I think he's a gold driver now. So let's update that.
Too quick.
Clearly some gold stripes on that car.
Yeah, Ashton, of course, experienced driver in the BSR MX-5 series. I believe he's still running in that. Of course, formerly on the iRacing Esports Network as well, the BSR MX-5 series. So a few of you viewers might be very well. Of course, thanks for tuning into this. A little bit of a rundown of the series. Of course, hour-long races, only in a 20-minute qualifying session. And then, yeah, just hour-long race. GT3 cars. It's all pretty simple. Not not mixing up too much with any reverse grids or anything like we see in some other championships. Just a proper light to flag race, and of course should be a pit stop as well. Jack TW1 saying, well, supporting Louis Hank and I said, and also saying, not you again, Sam. Me and Michael have done a lots of commentary over the past week, so apologies if our voices completely go at any point, but it should be all right. So should be all right. Halfway through the qualifying session so far, and it is Ashley Beard currently top of the standings. Ewan Marshall in second place and James Forsythe in third. It's again, Marco. Tricky situation for Marks van Liesnot, who only didn't take pole one time last season, I believe. At least when he did take part in qualifying. I think it was Sebring, the meeting that you missed, where he didn't take pole. Apart from that, he was absolutely perfect in qualifying. At the moment, only on the second row of the grid.
Yes, absolutely, as we have a big wreck for, I think, someone. As you can see, we are starting to miss some bits here on Apex Racing TV after all this work together, because we secretly have, you know, basically fantastic desire to punch each other. You know,
I don't think it's a secret anymore.
it's been a long week, you know.
Oh, so it has.
So, but yeah, and of course, how can we not talk about the new tire model? Because as I was jumping into the server around 1 hour ago, I saw that officially has been reported by iRacing the day of the release of the new build. It's already been scheduled, the maintenance, and so, man, it's getting closer and closer, and it's getting real, of course, Sam. And this could change a lot of things for these drivers, especially this guy right here, because this Ford, I'm still convinced, is going to be back to be very competitive, and this could spell disaster for the other drivers in the championship.
It's a sleeping beast, isn't it? The Ford. Never been particularly competitive. Of course, anyone who's been around on iRacing for a little while knows that this is a GT2 car, and then iRacing thought, well, we're a bit short on GT3 cars because they couldn't be bothered to scan another one. Sorry about that. And they
Which, by the way, existed.
Is
A GT3 version, although semi-unofficial, existed for these cars. For this car, it used to race in the oh, what's the name of the very famous... In the ADAC GT Masters, of course. There was a GT3 version of this car here. But no, they just took the body of the GT2 car and gave it some different physics. And apparently this car has got some big issues with shocks and rebounds and the suspension in general. So I have no idea how Martin van Loosenord is able to drive it around. As you see, Bob Bolan pit lane start, carrying over from the Daytona round. Who knows, maybe they have been waiting for the fix for this car, for the new tire model to come out. Who knows?
Perhaps. Apologies for that outburst. Thanks, Mark. Otherwise, I think the stream would have been down by now. We try to always stay quite neutral or positive, but honestly, there's so many negative points that we really struggle on that front. Martin van Liesnod absolutely flying around the top of the mountain. Of course, if there are issues with the shocks on that car, then probably won't be too costly on his ultimate pace around this track, although that did not look convincing whatsoever. Bouncing, it seemed like the inside corner far too much, it's far too soft, seemingly that front corner. Now it gets a little bit of a slipstream, not a massive slipstream effect in these cars. Van Liesnod trying to improve on his lap time at the moment. And of course, Ewan Marshall 1/10 of a second behind Ashley Beard. Van Liesnod needs to improve by about 3.5 tenths of a second in order to go to pole position. And currently, this lap, a couple of personal best sectors.
To reiterate the fact that, of course, the league has told the drivers that they will be able to change car penalty free, but they have of course a deadline to communicate, and I would imagine it will be a big week of testing for these guys before the next round to check if they are okay with the new car, new tire model, or if they want to switch to another car for the final, for the we will say for the fourth round of the season. Tom Methrol here, sitting in a very convincing 7th place. So your silver class leader is Mr. David Fuller, there you see him here. Second in class is John Barnes, whilst the leader of the bronze is Daytona winner Justin Nair, and he's sitting in the pits right now, enjoying the situation. Second in class is Craig Jones. Of course, Craig Jones amongst the drivers who were also racing in the enduro event on Sunday. Speaking of week 13 and endurance events, of course, there are the organizers are looking for new entries in the championship, especially in the newly minted GT4 class. I'm reading that they have already some big numbers, teams signing up 3 cars, for example, for that particular class I'm reading. But if you want to join in either the GT3, GT4, TCR or Porsche Cup categories in the Simracersworld Endurance Championship once per month on Apex Racing TV, sponsored by Abruzzi, well, great seats are still available, as they say, and we will be very happy to have you on board for that as well.
Yeah, we saw an awesome round the other day, didn't we, on Sunday? And yeah, it was not mega close in the end for the class victories in the GT3s and the Porsches, I believe, but the TCRs very close as ever. So should be, yeah, would certainly recommend joining that one. As 3 minutes to go, in fact, even more than that. No, it is 3 minutes to go in qualifying. Actually, Beard's lead is maintained. We saw this a little bit at Daytona as well, Marco, where the track didn't seem to get a whole lot faster. It's only 8 o'clock in the morning, so the track isn't heating up at a massive rate at the moment, but these early benchmarks struggling to be improved on.
Of course, it's the 15th of November, because we are on the other side of the world. Take that, flat earthers. So we have...
But that's not technically the same, is it? That is, because the solstice is... Why is it the 15th of November?
Because it is the same as the 15th of May, no? More or less 1 month before the summer solstice.
Yeah, sorry. Apologies. Of course, as a flat earther, I totally disagree with all of this.
You know, according to some of them, this race is not actually happening because Australia doesn't really exist.
Of course not, no. Of course, new Mount Panorama circuit being built on the other side of the mountain, I believe, which will be a little bit more of a standard race circuit compared to this, which of course has some converted roads, which I don't believe are used for race anymore. This is a completely racetrack now, but it was converted originally, and will be great to get that on iRacing potentially at some point. Of course, new Australian circuits as well expected after the supercars were released not too long ago. Van Leeuwenhoek still trying to improve then. Beard and Forsyth in the pits, and they are not going to be able to set a new lap time. It seems like Ewan Marshall as well isn't out on circuit. So Van Leeuwenhoek, who I believe has been on track for a couple of laps already, so he may not have fuel for another lap, reaching 280 kilometers an hour. Once again, taking that curve, but the car seemed to deal with that one a whole lot better than what we've seen it deal with in the past. And he's got one more corner to go if he wants to claim pole position. Here is the two-time champion, Van Leeuwenhoek, with a slide coming out of the final corner. Is it good enough? It's an improvement, but it doesn't elevate to many places. He remains in 4th and he's off the circuit. And Van Leeuwenhoek, who we were saying, had a disappointing 3rd place qualifying at Daytona 1 week ago. He's done no improvement this time. It's a 4th place start at best, with Jack Ashton improving on his lap at the moment. Even that top 2 rows start could be in jeopardy.
Comes Ryan Walker for Nomad Sim Racing. Very unlucky on Sunday, this team. Especially poor Ryan, because he was 2 laps before jumping into the car for the first time in the day that his teammate unfortunately had a big mistake at Canada corner, planting their Audi into the wall. Back to the Mercedes for tonight. Other drivers coming home. Ronald Moons on the run to the chase for Race Masters Esports. Now, you might have noticed that Ronald Boons and Race Masters have the same initials. That's because I don't know if you know the story of the name Race Masters, but it's very nice. Unfortunately, it's a bit not safe for work, so maybe I will tell it later today in the final few laps of the race. A lot of kids are watching us, I would imagine, at this time of the day.
Of course. That's a whole. I mean, you can go. We sometimes look at the demographics, and honestly, the amounts. It's just 18 to 35-year-old men. I mean, that is 99% of our um, of our population. Anyone who isn't 18 to 35 and is not male, lets us know on the YouTube chat, because you're in the minority watching this. I believe John McConville coming up to line, currently in 19th place. Good qualifying so far for McConville. Joe, who's improved quite a bit for the last 2 seasons, and he does a 2-minute 1.9, and it elevates him a couple more places up into 16th. Also got John Barnes, who I believe, along with Lee Woodburn, are the only drivers still to put in a time. John Barnes doing very well up in 13th place at the moment. Here's Lee Woodburn.
Yeah, Barnes had off track.
Oh, he did. No, Barnes
no, he
elevated,
didn't.
yeah.
No,
11th.
he didn't. Sorry, I made a big mistake there. He didn't have an off track, so good luck for him. Sorry to him for not following him in the final few corners. Let's see Woodburn, 34th place. And in all of this, you can see
It was an improvement, I think.
PJ Claessens has had a one lap, and I think that was strategy for PJ Claessens. He did a 1 lap, and he did it so slowly that he's the last of the cars with valid qualifying time, so he's going to start at the back, but not from the pits, so he doesn't want to lose more time than necessary, I think. Without a time, Stijn van Buwel, Kevin Bolland, because of the penalty, and also, no, Kevin Bolland doesn't have a penalty. Bob Bolland has a penalty. Kimbe Height and James Obden, your drivers, who will be starting from the rear of the field, or possibly from the pits. Certainly the pits will be the home of Bob Bolland for this restart, as we are waiting for the session to switch over and waiting to give you the starting grid for tonight's race. And Sam, here we go.
Yeah, so it's actually Bid on pole position. 2nd place last time out, and he's absolutely delivered for this Bathurst round. 1/10 of a second ahead of James Forsyth. Ewan Marshall starts up in 3rd. Then it's Martin Van Leeuwenhoek, Jack Ashton, Jeremy Hessels, Seb Hawkins, Tom Metherell, Adam Murray on his debut in 9th place. Dion Phillips, John Barnes, top of the silver drivers. Then it's David Fuller, Neil Cooper, Justin Nager, Paul Gosling, John McConville, Craig Jones, top of the bronze drivers. Great qualifying for Jones. Louis Hank, Steve Clays, Chris Muretta, Ollie Slade, Nick Shermans, John Tusting, Jeez Mujdi, watch out for him from 24th place. Expect him to make up some places. Ronald Moons, Rob Thiessen, Stephen DeWolf, Pim Bao, Kevin De Winter, Ryan Walker, Simon Van Dyke, Lee Deemer, Theisberg, Lee Woodburn, Jochen Lennartz, Sam Bentham, PJ Claessens was the last driver to set an eligible time, as Marco said, but some 24 seconds off the pace. And then the drivers who will be starting from the pit lane: Stijn van Buel, Bod Boland, Kim Byhet, Kevin Boland, and James Hobden. 44 drivers, and you can see the Mustang pace car en route I mean, that's his legacy. If nothing else, I think we're going to have that as the pace car for the foreseeable future. As we see some nice shots of some trees,
Wonder who did the
which is
cameras for
very
this
nice.
place. I just wanted to show
Oh
you
my
that
god!
leader of the bronze is actually not Craig Jones, but Justin Ayer, who also happens to be the winner of the bronze class in Daytona. Hopefully they haven't made a last minute change for Justin, but I have him on my sheet as a
Yes, apologies, that was my bad.
bronze. Don't worry.
I'm just
New
such a big Craig Jones fan. Craig Jones is now my favourite driver now that Ian Reitz has gone. I think I've got to support someone. I've got to be biased to someone after all. So the field is pulling away. That's a year 1-1-2. Will it maintain like that? Can Van Loosenor get his first win of the season? Can Beard get his first race win of the season? We're going to have a new race winner, I guess, today. Because with Danny Crow's not here, really opens the door for other drivers. The pace car is coming into the pits, and 1 hour of racing at Bathurst in the Dynamic Simracersworld GT Series is underway, and it's a big launch for Ashley Beard straight away, pulling away from the rest of the field. Forsyth will try to stay in second place, side by side between Van Loosenor and Marshall, and Van Loosenor goes around the outside of Marshall, and that was a comfortable move in the end for the Dutchman, and that was a very successful start, just what he needed. Hetzel's moves ahead of Ashton, Fuller gets ahead of Barnes, and that is for second place, I believe, in the silver category. In fact, that is for the lead in the silver category. Under more pressure now is Ewan Marshall. Not a good start for him because Jeremy Hassels tries to come past him. It's not quite good enough.
Everything seems to be okay, but of course now the real trouble begins as they go up the hill. Up until P14 everything seems to be fine. We hear no strange noises, no crashing, no bad reports from the live timing software. Very good job from everyone as we jump back to the lead of the race. James Fordyke under pressure from Van Loosenor. Fantastic job from everyone as we see Bob Boland slowly but surely making his way out of the pits.
Yep, so has some time to catch up, and it's not the pile-up that he would have wanted. At least he does have a clean car. You never know. Maybe if he was involved, then maybe there would have been a pile-up. Who knows? But PJ Clayton's also out on the track. Van Loosenor looking racy. That Ford didn't seem to be too great in qualifying. However, the determination of the two-time champion is really coming out now. And here he goes with the slipstream. Forsyth goes defensive initially. Of course, this outside line will turn into the inside line very soon. However, Van Loosenor has got such overspeed, and he storms past his rival, and that was rather simple. However, runs a little bit deep into the next corner, but he has it all covered. So, up from 4th to 2nd already for the car number 1.
Great stuff there for Van Loosenor. He's already up into 2nd place then, as Kevin De Winter is having some issues. And he's back on track. I think he's losing a bit of time there, and he's got some damage to the front of that. No, it's not him with a big damage, sorry. It's Lee Woodburn for the Venomworks team. Theisberg is somewhere behind that wall. There he is, gotta be careful. And back onto the racing surface. So something must have happened there. Let's get a replay of what just transpired here. So no, that Venomworks area already had some damage, but we didn't have any kind of indication from the live timing. As we are back on the mountain for the 2nd time today. As you can see, as Sam was saying, 1 hour race. And one thing I'm noticing, and that's how I would have to say thank you to Pascal for the nice new feature of the flags, the drivers' nationalities. For a series that has been dominated by drivers from the Belgium, Netherlands and Luxembourg region in recent years, there's quite a big number of Union flags there on the left side of the screen, especially our race leader Ashley Beard, but also Forsdyke, Marshall, Ashton, Metrol, etc., etc., etc. Of course, keeping the Netherlands flag flying high, Van Luzenoord, Essels, Nayer, and then of course Anke and Steve Claes for Belgium as we go once again down the hill.
Yeah, and Phillips, who recently got past Adam Murray, or as Ashton now getting past Hessels. Nice move, because Hessels was trying to gain a place earlier on himself, but he's been caught by Ashton. Maybe the weakness of that BMW, the straight line speed, really costing him in that situation. Of course, you speak about Britain doing so well in this series. Of course, we are runner-ups on the World Championship, something like 7 times. I think we won it once, like 7 years ago. And apart from that, we always lose to either or Diach or Finland every single year. It just shows we are the best nation, apart from probably Netherlands, who are getting very good. And this is one of the reasons why Martin van Liesnoord, who pulls out from underneath. It's tricky to go around the outside at turn 2, and this early on in the race, you don't feel like it's necessary. Good news for Beard, at least, is he has kept behind Van Liesnoord for a couple of laps now, so he's starting to learn the tricks of the car number 1. And it's inviting a lot of other drivers. What Beard would really like right now is for Stoke to get a little bit involved and create a little bit of a buffer, but I think that's going to be very tricky for the car number 32.
Issues for Chris Moreta. Hard into the wall. I think the first victim of the mountain of the day. And I think someone got into him after he crashed. And onto the wall, and then I think one of the rev match cars sitting in 30th place was that was, apologies, but there was certainly some contact, and Chris Moreta is still going, but of course heavily damaged. No, he's not going anymore, as we have an attack for the lead.
Yep, and Van Liesnoord, has he got it done? He has got it done. So 4th to 1st in just 3 laps for Mats Van Liesnoord. We were doubting his capabilities of winning today's race, but he's absolutely proved us wrong because he's got track position. A whole long way to go still, but he does seem to have a pace advantage. And now here is Marshall, after a really poor start, trying to get back past James Forsyke, as Tom Methors had a big issue. He was up in 8th place, I believe, was Methor, maybe even higher than that. There you can see he was in 7th, I think, just behind Jeremy Hessels. Goes in, and he's very early, wasn't even on the curb, but lost the rear end. As we see now, Ashton trying to take profit from Forsyke, getting back past then. I think that was Forsyke getting back past Marshall. And now Marshall might be under pressure from Ashton, who puts his nose down the inside, then going side by side up the mountain. It's not usually advised, but these guys keep it out of the wall just about. And the only winner of this is, wow, they're still going side by side. What a move from Jack Ashton. I thought it was all over when he seemed to fall behind, but he kept it on in there. Maybe that MX-5 racing around this circuit year after year, helping him out there, because that was fantastic awareness, and he moves up into 4th place.
I mean, the chat has been as vocal as I've ever remembered tonight. A lot of people, including for the first time ever, Ian Roots is joining us as a spectator. Hopefully he's enjoying the show. Ronald Moons with big issues.
It's worrying when a driver is dropping down the order and they're not.
And he's also going the wrong way, which is not
Yes.
recommended. Trying to find a good moment, and I think he has to wait for the car of Bob Boland there. I think now he's in the clear to run around, to turn around, apologies. So he was going for a move there at Skyline. Contact with one of the rev match cars, and hard into the wall with the left rear side of his car.
Could have been with Rob Thiessen, I imagine he was fighting with. So watch out if Thiessen drops down anytime soon, or perhaps takes an early pit stop. Credit to actually be, because he's sticking with Van Uysen, just set the fastest lap of the race. Oh, was it Jochen Lennart's he
No, it
collided
wasn't.
with?
No.
No. Oh, Bentham! Uh-oh. Ever so quick at Daytona, was running as high as 5th place, I believe, in that one, before it kind of went a little bit sour, had a collision with his teammate and a slowdown or two. And wasn't running too high up the order, but it certainly hasn't helped his cause.
Yeah, several cars involved. Also Dimmer and Bolland were involved in that. Now they are still going at it as one of the Venomworks cars is coming, but big traffic jam there. PJ Claessens trying to make his way through and up into 31st position. As you remember, he started way back. Jeremy Essels, no, he's going around at Skyline with massive damage. And he's not the only one. Unfortunately, Dion Phillips is also involved in that mess. So Essels has stowed back to the pits. I don't know about Dion Phillips. I'm frantically searching for his name among the many entrants. Oh, he has stowed as well. Let's see what happened.
I imagine he's lost it, and then Phillips is kind of coming afterwards, because there was a 2-second gap between them.
Ah, nothing he could do about that. Poor Phillips.
He kind of cleared the way for everyone else, did Phillips. Took the brunt of it, and everyone else managed to quite comfortably get through. Massive shame for those two drivers who are having a terrific meeting, but that's the difficulty of Bathurst, and that's our first couple of front runners who have really lost out due to the close walls round this circuit. Seems like Forsyth has resisted the pressure from Ashton, so comfortable 3rd place, top 6 separating one another, and then we've got a big gaggle of cars behind Hawkins, as Thiessen just had a little bit of an off, and also Hobden constantly seeing off tracks down the order. I think it's due to the chase, where drivers just keep on ever so slightly outbraking themselves and having a slight excursion off the track. Bentham now almost dead last after that incident he had. Hawkins, though, up into 6th place on his, well, hasn't done too many races, Hawkins. I think this is only his 2nd proper race, because we had the media day as well 2 weeks ago. And this is quite a tricky situation for him, because he's got Adam Murray, who is well and truly in his debut, I believe, is Murray, another Year 1 driver. And then, of course, Neil Cooper, who we haven't talked too much about so far today, for Fury Simsport, very quick driver, as we learnt last season. And John Barnes, top of the, Fuller's top of the silver drivers, Barnes in 2nd place in the silver drivers, and then Neger in 11th, top of the bronze drivers.
Yeah, so far Quantum Racing are enjoying a fantastic run. They've got Fuller in the lead of their class. 2nd place, of course, is John Barnes. The convoy for Simracersworld is 3rd in silver, but under pressure from another Quantum car. This time is Paul Gosling, so they could well and truly get possibly a podium sweep, as race 1 winner Luis Hanke is not that far behind, as we have a fight again between Murray and Hawkins. Getting into the chase behind them, Fuller and Cooper. Cooper jumps up to 8th place then. A bit disappointed by the lack of Smurf blue on this Abruzzi car. Even though it's a lovely shade of blue, this one. I prefer the one they had last season, as there's some contact there in the back between
right.
Fuller and I think Cooper.
These guys are losing each other a lot of time now, 5 seconds. You can see it for yourself. Up the road, the drivers ahead. But Barnes, did he gain a place in that? No, he stayed in 10th place, apologies, but he's now on the tail of his teammate David Fuller. Unfortunately, we had to take the podcast down due to the wrong upload, basically, the other day. But we made our picks for that, and I think my pick for the silver class was David Fuller. Marco went very dull with Neger. And it's like, well, you won race 1. It was probably quite a smart choice. I went out there with David Fuller.
I didn't go with Neger, I went with Nair.
Nair, sorry.
It's going to be a £1 penalty every time you say it wrong, and the fund are going to go directly to me, so...
Wow, okay.
At the end of the season. If someone in the chat can keep track of Sam's mispronunciation of Justin's name, so we can have the check at the end of the season, so he can give me, I need some money to, racing subscription, etc. Stuff. Dinners.
Yeah, a mask perhaps could be quite useful soon.
Oh, judging by the way things are going, absolutely yes.
Fuller gaining a little bit in the slipstream. Well, he's not really, is he, to be honest? Maybe a little bit of a slipstream for Cooper ahead. Just failed to really pull away. Still, Murray just seems like possibly the slowest out of these guys because despite fighting behind, Murray's the one guy who hasn't been fighting out of this lot, and he's still kind of being sucked back in by everyone else. Hawkins right on his tail. Ollie Slade, by the way, up into 15th place. Up 6 places is Slade. Haven't we talked about him too much? Talked about him at the top of the show. But one of the rookies out on check. So I'm pretty well so far to gain that main place. Craig Jones up 1 place. Tom Methel cost down 9 places from 8th on the grid. I think we saw the spin for him earlier on, catching up to the back of this field.
Steve Clays has, I think, towed back to the pits. I think he has, and is now back on track. As you can see, in position 36, so something must have happened to him.
Van Leeuwenhoek leading by 0.8 of a second. Beard was 7/100ths of a second faster on that last lap. He's certainly keeping him honest. Reminds me a bit of that Sebring round last season where Van Leeuwenhoek didn't start on pole position. He started in 3rd place and was harassed by the 2nd place driver. I think it was PJ Clayton's on that day for the entire event. In the end, managed to win out just through the 2nd place driver not being able to get past him. And could turn into a similar event this. Beard just getting a waft of the slipstream. Anyone who wants to check out the times between these guys, of course, do check out in the description. We've got the live timing link provided, of course, by SDK Gaming, and it will open a little window up on your browser, and you can see the lap times, their best lap times, their last lap time, the gap between each driver, the lap that they pitted, their pit stop time, all the information that you need, the positions that they've gained so far in the race. So I certainly do recommend checking that out. That link is in the description. It does make our jobs as commentators, though, slightly redundant once you know all the information. It does put our job at risk, but we're willing for you to use that at least today. Cooper, after getting past Fuller not too long ago, there's a look at Hawkins, but Hawkins actually runs a little bit wide. I thought it was going to be Cooper who lost out there, taking in the tighter line, but Hawkins, in his defense, broke a little bit late, and now he's left himself very susceptible to the attack going into turn 2. So far, we haven't seen the outside move work at this corner. You've got to be mega committed and hope that your rival doesn't understeer into you. And Cooper backing out of it. And once we get onto this part of the circuit, it's extremely tricky to make a move done.
Yes, I mean, even with the smaller cars like the Skip Barber, which I love driving around here, this is basically a wait-and-see part of the track. The only way you can make the move is if your opponent makes a big mistake. Apart from that, usually it's like waiting, stay alive, which is, decently important, and then set up a move out of Forest Elbow into the into Conrod Straight and into the
Slade.
chase. Slade as... Okay, no, there's been a crash for our race winner from the Daytona in the silver class. And he is having a bit of troubles getting it back into the racing surface. This was, or okay, this is the right replay.
This is Slade with him. I saw these guys go side by side and straight away
some
thought,
contact.
uh-oh. And that is what happened. Very fortunate not to be hit again, Hank, but we did the best he could in that situation. Now towing back to the pits. Great shame for Louis, Hank. We see this, though, season after season in the silver category, where drivers just cannot get consistency in the silver category because it is so competitive and you're in the midfield. It's just about how many finishes you can get. And Hank, after winning at Daytona, not going to score many points today, but at least we'll be able to get back out on circuit if he so chooses. Won't be too much damage on that car. Seb Hawkins has the... Oh, he's just defending still against Cooper. Cooper tried this move on the last lap. This time he's further behind if anything, so gonna have to be a miracle move. Get some extra ground effect downforce perhaps that could swing him round the outside, but no, not on that occasion. You can see this battle goes back down to Justin Nair. Were you impressed with that one, Marco?
I am very impressed. I mean, I shouldn't be impressed about you doing your job, but that's besides the point.
2 years. 2 years I've been doing this. 3 years? 2
Oh,
years.
2 years.
And I still
I mean,
can't do
you
it.
2 years, yeah. No, two,
Yeah.
you, yeah. And you know, in 1 month's time is 2 years with me, which is I don't know. I don't know how are you still, hanging on to your sanity after doing this for 2 years with me.
I don't know how I'm hanging on to my job, personally. Phew, really does show the lack of options out there. That can be the only real excuse.
Oh, Tom Methrel! That's a big hit on the right side. Did it get another hit? No, but that I think did the damage already, as he has towed back to his races around here can end in an instant, Sam. We see it every time. Oh, look at the dive bomb there from Cooper. Not working as Barnes and Nair are going at it. And Barnes gets the move done, gets the position back. Bit of argy-bargy there, and here comes McConville on the inside of the bronze leader, championship leader, class leader, race 1 winner in Daytona. He's got all the honors so far, my championship pick for the bronze class this season.
McConville joining the back of this battle then. Paul Gosling, haven't talked about him too much, sitting just behind. And then, of course, Ollie Slade after that crash a bit more detached. Hawkins now. Oh, Ashton's got past Forsyke. Oh, Forsyke's hit the wall.
He has hit the wall.
And how much damage is on that car? Oh, it looks pretty bad. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's loads.
Yes,
I think it's actually the rear corner. Oh, well, I guess it's the front corner, judging by the bonnet. Oh, what a shame for Forsyke, and what a shame for Year 1 Racing. Because they had a 2-3, and he's just understeered into the wall. I don't know about you, Marco, but I personally usually have those accidents when I just lose concentration, where you kind of just forget, and you brake 10 meters too late for a corner, and around most circuits that wouldn't be any trouble, but around this place, you just slide into the wall, and he would have known he was in the wall and out of the race about, well, what would have felt like an eternity beforehand.
You know, this track, I think, is the #1 track for slapping you in the face when you think you've got things under control. You are not allowed to relax. Never. And that happened to me plenty of times. It's catching out super experienced drivers, unfortunately. Of course, we know that James Fordek is a debutant to this series, but I'm sure he's got plenty of experience in his bag already. Learning lesson. I mean, if it's a lesson, you're supposed to learn. So, a lesson for him. Let's put it this way. I don't think. It's going to be a long repair for him, and we're already 22 minutes into this race. So I don't know if he's going to be able to come back and grab some valuable points. But yeah, that's the way it is around here, and that's why this fight at the front is not over, even though in the last couple of laps, as we can see from the time comparison, Beard has lost 4 tenths in 1 lap and 5 in the other, so the gap was half a second, and now is 1.3, so Van Loosenord putting in some good laps, even though Beard is pushing super hard. And every time I see that Ford run around the mountain, scraping those walls, I am secretly, clenching everything I have, because that is so dangerous. Let's jump on board with our race leader, back-to-back Le Champion of the series, Martin van Loozenhoorn.
It is incredibly impressive, the commitment that these drivers have. I was personally in the Porsche for the Bathurst 12 hours in top split as well. We were doing all right, actually. We were in like 9th place or something,
Until
and then
you
got
smashed the
taken
car,
out.
right?
Sorry?
Until you smashed the car. I mean, that's what I was told by...
I was in the car while someone hit us, alright, Mark? Okay? Give me a break.
I wasn't watching because I was doing other stuff, but I got a message from one of my teammates that was watching the race, and his words were, Sam Fitzpatrick is dead. That was all I got.
Honestly, I'm still bitter about that. If anyone wants to find it on the stream on the iRacing Esports Network, Joe came out of the pits and spun at turn 2 and crashed into me. So wasn't fun. Would have won the race as well, of course. But anyway, I'm not bitter. Bod Boland in 26th place, up 14 places from his start. Pim Bao already with damage to that bonnet. Running wide is the Nomad car of Ryan Walker. He's only just got past Pim Bao actually, but Bao gets straight back on him. It's a battle for 20th place. Already plenty of retirees in this event.
They have been going at it for quite a bit. This is round 1 and this is round 2. Again, I have to say, Sam, the vegetation enthusiast will be super happy with your work. Oh no! Ewan Marshall
from 4.
Oh, and he gets hit by
and he's being
Nair.
hit. Yeah.
Hit by Nair there. Oh dear,
he's
that's
done well to tow back. Where was... Well, that was going through turn 4 through the cutting. The second part of the cutting.
Was it Nair that got a piece of him?
I think so.
Thankfully, it was mostly netcode, therefore the damage popped back in. I think Nair dodged a major bullet there. His car seems to be fine. Let's see on the straight. Yes, he is 100% fine. So lucky for him, unlucky, and poor Meraki boys. They are dropping like flies tonight.
Yeah, kind of got used to them occupying half the places in the top 10, and then the other half being rev match drivers, but quite a few other teams bringing the challenge to them this season. Jack Ashton on that last lap. Very competitive. Van Nieuwsnoord, as we were saying a few laps ago, started to pull away. Now down to half a second to Beard, and on that last lap, Ashton was half a second faster than Martin Van Nieuwsnoord. So he's catching them up. Maybe this could be a three-way battle for the race lead, and just remember, if you can put pressure on your rival, it really can force them into a mistake around this track, as we have seen so many times, and we're not even halfway through this event. Craig Jones, this is second place in the bronze category. Second place anyway, because I say there's a silver driver, of course, but Craig Jones moving ahead in his Ferrari.
I think Sliddy is a gold driver, despite the high number.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yes, got a gold number on his car. Let me spend, like, I know there's been a lot of attrition at the front, but his debut on Adam Murray in 4th, and Hawkins is having a fantastic race in the top 5 with his Abruzzi Esports GT3 Audi, and also Cooper, Fuller, of course. Fuller. I mean, I'm rooting so hard for David to have a great result. I won't say anything because a commentator cursed him plenty of times last year after his brilliant debut campaign in which he won the bronze title by a landslide. So I won't say anything, but I'm really pulling for him to have a good result tonight. Possibly a race win, and a mistake somewhere for Beard, because at a moment's notice Van Loozenhoorn pulls out to 2 seconds, and more mistakes from Beard. And Ashton licking his lips just like my dog when I'm eating something at the table. because he knows he might get something out of this.
So Ashton pretty much matched Van Loosen on that last lap, but Beard 1.8 seconds slow, and he's running wide again. Remember, you do get penalties for getting too many instants. Ashton currently on 0. Meanwhile, Beard is on 2, to be fair. So I think we've literally just seen his first 2 instants on camera, which is unlucky for him. Bod Bolan's, once again, of course, on the few Meraki drivers still out there. They've all gone. And he's by himself as well. Sure, he will be featured later on in the race. I imagine he's going to have some pretty fun battles once all the pit stops and stuff is complete. I'm sure he'll try to stay out of the crashes.
Van
Be surprised if he
Loosenhoord!
oh, Van Loosenhoord! Oh, he's crashed. And Martin Van Loosenhoord, after a disastrous Daytona round 1, I was saying how this is the worst place to try to get your championship challenge back on track. And that is exactly what has prevailed. Van Loosenhoord out of the race.
Oh, I mean, every
Pressure,
time
Mark.
this is,
Pressure.
this is the corner that every time scared me the most when I was looking at him, and it was the corner, the section of the track that really put him out of the race. Absolutely incredible, as my voice, sorry, is also starting to go. And this leaves Ashley Beard and Jack Ashton first and second, Adam Murray on the podium, and this could be, I mean, Christmas come early for both of these guys who are now fighting for the race win, and Jack Ashton looking really good. Man, what a disastrous start of the season for our back-to-back champion. He has the pace, because he has the pace, even in the Ford, he has fantastic pace, one media day by a landslide, but luck has not been on his side, and if in Daytona we could argue it was not his fault, the steward said it was PJ Clayton's fault for a harsh defense there. This is all of his doing, and of course you can blame the car, but in the end it's a single car crash, so he will be furious with himself as we have this fantastic fight here with Cooper finally going past Eberer, as David Hawkins, sorry, and Eberer is in the not in this fight here. And look at Fuller jumping up to the provisional top 5.
Ooh, coming
is
back
it's too much.
Coming back was Hawkins. I really thought he'd given up on that one, but it was a fair enough move. These guys 20 seconds off the lead. There's a 14.5-second gap between Ashton and Murray. I remember I was being a little bit harsh to Murray earlier on, saying that he wasn't particularly quick out on circuit, but he stayed out of battles, and well, it's a year 1 1-2. Could have been a 1-2-4 at this point if we didn't see the crash earlier on for one of their teams. Lee Deemer back into the pits, however, I believe that is scheduled for him, so isn't too bad. Now up into 11th place is Craig Jones. So many drivers having a brilliant round. And look at Fuller. How's he? No, sorry, he's defending. Apologies. I thought he just made a move. No, he has just made a
He
move.
made a move.
I can't believe this.
Oh, because he
Oh,
jumped.
and it was a mistake.
By the way, you can cut there. You don't get an off track if you go straight there. But sorry, I apologize. You get an off track. Sorry, you get a slow down, of course. And so Fuller. Can I say it with half an hour to go? Having his best race since his rookie season. His
I think it's best race
season.
ever. Naya. Oh, going for 6th. And there's another mistake.
Hawkins, yeah, he's
from
wide.
Hawkins. And he's gradually dropped down the order. Remember, he was on the tail of Adam Murray not too long ago. And he's fallen. Now 4 places behind Murray.
Craig Jones
Craig
is
Jones
pit road.
into the pits. That's a good strategy, I think. Where will he come back out? There's a nice gap between Boland and Byhet at the moment. He might come out right in the middle of that.
So there's the Flemish car, and there is Bod Poland. While this battle pack here is not letting us down. Great entertainment. Fuller is looking to pull away, and so is Nair. They are both looking for a very tasty class win, and of course it would be 2 out of 2 for Nair, but as we have seen plenty of times tonight, Sam, it's not over until it's over.
Jones, by the way, coming out just behind Bayet, so it hasn't quite worked out for him, but he is ahead of Vandenberg and Hobden. We'll keep an eye out on what his times are. Could be a very successful undercut potentially. This is the battle for the lead.
And
Beard so
Ashton
close to
takes the
winning
lead.
last week. Yeah, sorry, apologies. Yeah, Ashton from 5th on the grid, up into the lead, and this is how it happened. Was it a slowdown for a bit?
I don't no idea how you can get a slowdown up there on the mountain, but certainly the closing speed was absolutely massive. I wasn't expecting that. I was looking at them on the light timing, and all of a sudden I saw Ashton zoom past him, so that's partly the reason why we missed it live, so apologies for that, but some mistake maybe for Beard up the mountain. His car seems to be clean, but now Ashton has got a fantastic chance. He can push, he can create a gap, and yes, I agree with I agree with the year one guys, because I'd say that Team Forzilla should be disqualified for not driving a Ford.
Totally agree. Had a lot of controversy about team names recently.
Yeah, apologies I don't know why Craig Jones is shown as a driver for Rev Match. This will be changed straight away.
Yeah, he's trying to catch him past them by hit. Of course, you kind of get an advantage if you want to cut because you get some cleaner, potentially. But of course, you do have more fuel. So in terms of the fastest way to get to the flag, it's a bit slower. But like I said, you can kind of forge your own race. It mixes up the strategy a little bit. That's what he's trying to do. Now, let's see if Ashton gets a similarly awesome exit from Forest Elbow as he got on the last lap. Pulls away a little bit, so maybe that is an element of the track where he is quite strong. Beard gaining back in the slipstream though. The gap was 0.42, already down to 0.32 now. I'm going to be close enough for an overtake. Of course, we'll be saving a little bit of fuel, will Beard, at this point. That could be important when it comes to the pit stop times.
Just as a note for maybe the new viewers who I think are enjoying this absolutely crazy race, full of surprises, is that the drivers will only take fuel in their stops. They will not take tires because it takes too much time to change the tires compared to the time you have left, and the advantage you get from the fresher tires is not worthy of changing them. So basically, yeah, you would lose time in the end by having fresh tires, as Beard is looking on the outside again. A very brave move is required. Ashton maybe a bit deep on the brakes, but he is able to get a perfect exit through turn to Griffin's Bend, and now update once again. But this race, Sam, is far from over. Beard is showing that he has the pace to stick with Ashton. Maybe, but this is wild speculation, maybe he let him by semi-voluntarily to save a bit of fuel in this second half of the race, and therefore getting a bit of an advantage at the pit stops.
Yeah, it would be very confident to do that because, of course, it's so easy to make a small mistake and lose the draft. But you're absolutely right. It works quite well for him behind Van Liesma. He should have quite a bit of fuel potentially. Can pull out 2 seconds in the pit stops. That'll break the draft. Maybe he'd be able to go on and win the race. But yeah, could certainly be a decent theory. Sherman's behind Tusting. What a great drive from Tusting. I want to give shout-outs to all these silver drivers, but there's just so many of them doing well. It's very frustrating. But Tusting is one of the drivers who's doing very well, up in 12th position, of course. It's Ashton, a little bit pulled away, just at the exit of the mountain. Having a glance is Ashley Beard. 16 seconds ahead of Murray now. He's improving his lap times as Murray, getting some of his best lap times of the race. A little bit of a question to the viewers I'd like to ask. I mean, for the new tyre model, we talk about in this race how you don't have to change tyres. With the new tyre model, would anyone like maybe some accelerated tyre wear, something that iRacing hasn't really done in the past? You see it in other games such as like Project Cars, I believe, and Assetto Corsa. Yeah, what would people's views be on that? Could be quite fun to have times for tyre wear and force a pit stop in this series. Yeah, it would be great to get your views on that one. 0.2 of a second between Ashton and Beard. And by the way, if anyone's got any ideas, iRacing aren't listening to this, so
You realize
it's an empty chamber.
you just A, broke a rule, and B, created World War III in the comments with what you just said. I need to
Oh,
give
do you
you the...
remember when accelerated time of day was being talked about? And yeah, that broke the forums for a couple of days, saying it's not realistic to have the option. You can't do that. You can't accelerate time in real life. Why have it in sim?
There is,
Yeah, they didn't have it.
you need to get another read at the Esports Network protocol, which forbids very strictly naming other simulators. So I could report you, and you will be fired by Alex.
Uh-oh. I think it's coming anyway, to be honest. You'd just be bringing forwards the inevitable.
I always, if you remember, when I talk about other simulators in the esports network, I always use euphemism like the famous Italian GT3 simulator. Wonder what that could be. As Ashton is still looking good in the lead. Let me. I want to get fired with you, so I will tell you that there's a bit of excitement because in today's the new Brazilian simulator based on the engine of the simulator that Sam just mentioned is coming out with a beta release, and there's a big excitement because of course their Formula cars are second to none in my opinion. I will maybe give a review in our podcast in the next few days.
Good idea. Barnes has just lost a place to Hawkins, by the way.
Oh, yes, because I'm one of the early backers of this particular Brazilian simulator, therefore I will have access to the beta as Oli Slade goes into the pits.
So it's Brazilian circuits, is it?
No, not only that, we also have displays here.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, is it me or did we have no single decision from the stewards tonight so far?
I mean, how would I know, Marco?
Good point.
Leave that all up to you with your fancy graphics on your fancy screen. So Slade, Mujdi, and Boland all coming into the pits in that last lap. Strange that Boland came into the pits, seeing that I think he was still a bit by himself, unless he maybe caught up to a few drivers. I'm quite sure. So take the positions at least outside the top 10 with a little bit of a grain of salt, because drivers are starting to come into the pits. We've got quite far in this race already, to be honest. We are quite far in, so we're 42 minutes into the event, and so this is really where we expect pit stops, because Daytona, one of the highest fuel consumption circuits on all of iRacing. This place, not too bad. I guess it's quite high in terms of fuel consumption with the couple of long straights we have, but of course on the mountain, you don't use too much fuel. Anyone who's raced down this place, oh well, that was a dummy. Oh, nice one. I applaud Jack Ashton for that. I was convinced. I'm sure Ashley Beard was as well, but that was a nice little divots over to the pit lane. But anyway, anyone who's racing on this place, when you watch your F4, you just see like for the entire mountain section, it comes down by like 0.2. All the fuel is used for those two long straights. Fuller, that's going to be an unsafe pit entry. Pretty sure there's rules against that. So watch out for his long pit stop. So Murray came in, Cooper, Fuller, Hawkins, Gosling. Crucially, Nair up into third place. Rare to see bronze driver that far up. Hawkins, did he also get the pit lane wrong? I think he got it all right. Yeah, he was all right, but yeah, Fuller was in a big trouble. It's the curse marker. You complimented him.
Let's see the.
He's all right, is Fuller. It's only 13 seconds. Fine. Unless he just didn't take fuel. I assume he did. Barnes defending against McConville. That's not what you need to do, guys. You need to go overcut these drivers who have just pitted rather than fights amongst yourselves. It's actually yeah, Barnes defending against McConville. You'd fully expect these two guys to come into the pits unless Beard has pulled a blinder and managed to save a lap of fuel. Remember, he was stuck behind Van Loosenhoff for much of the first part of this race, and then now stuck behind Ashton, but I doubt he's done enough to save an entire lap of fuel compared to his rival.
So, who's going to pull to the left? The answer is both of them.
Oh. Have they both got the pit entry right? Turns out that you can cut it and not get any penalty. So, we expect Beard with a shorter pit stop, but you doubt either of them are going to be able to basically break the draft. But it seems like it's possible to overtake around this pace, but it's awkward. It's risky to overtake around this pace. And it's questionable who has more to lose, because these will be the top two in the championship after this round. Almost certainly, as long as Beard doesn't put it into a wall, he'll be the championship leader. As he comes to a stop right at the end of the pit lane, that'd be a bit of an advantage. Slightly shorter route. Ashton 12.72. Beards. Oh, it's longer, 13.5. That's not what I expected. And the gap's going to go from about 0.8 of a second to 3 seconds. Barnes as well stationary. Murray will take 3rd place. Now, will Nair remain in 5th? Or will Fuller get ahead? Nair coming out of the pits. This could be close. Fuller already up to speed, but he's not close enough. Wasn't quite a good enough outlap for Fuller. And he's still 7/10 behind, so that undercut's not quite worked out. Barnes still ahead of Hawkins. I think that is the same order as what they were before. No one having particularly long pit stops for all the drivers. It's all not too much has changed during this period.
As we have seen in the past few days, McLaren drivers really saving up on the electricity bill by not turning on their lights. I wonder if the roof has got the same thing, because of course the McLaren and the roofs were the first two GT3 cars in service. Still beautiful as ever, this MP4-12. See, sadly not the perfect track for this car.
Craig Jones with quite a long pit stop, 21 seconds. Not sure what that could have been. He's the anomaly out of everyone who's pitted, apart from Jochen Lennartz with 28 seconds. Don't know what happened to, well, that was 15 seconds, probably a speeding penalty. Yeah, strange what happened to Craig there.
Yeah, because he had to change team mid-race, no? From ref match to CCTS.
Oh, yeah, of course. That's actually a new car, isn't it? Had to get a new livery on it.
I got the team name wrong again, by the way, because I think it's another team name. So hold on to your horses for a second.
I'd be surprised if this broadcast isn't cut before the end of the race, because honestly, it's been an absolute shambles, and yet it's probably one of our better broadcasts. That's a really disappointing thing. Craig Jones ahead of PJ Clayton, who's just got past John Tustings, I believe. 22 places gained for Claysons. Said that Boland might get into the top 10 earlier on. I don't think that's going to happen. He's still down in 22nd place, so they might be past Ryan Walker very soon. As Fuller, not quite ahead of Nair, but he's getting closer. He's getting closer. top of the bronze drivers, battles top of the silver drivers. You really question after this performance, will Naya be promoted to a silver driver? He's been ever so impressive so far this season and will certainly be fighting for the silver championship if he was promoted.
Looking at the entry list, Craig Jones, SEC Racing. Yeah, I knew I was wrong. So the team name is coming for, and this is the right one finally.
Have we talked about Stephen DeWolf for this entire race?
I don't think so.
I think I've literally just glazed over his name. Sorry, Stephen. Started down in 27th place, but he's up into 12th. Not sure how he's done that, because he pitted. He pitted pretty late, and you know what? He may have just overcut like 5 drivers behind him because he's got 5 drivers within 5 seconds behind him. Maybe just bets a pit stop for him. Good good in lap, sorry. And the Wolf is up into 12th position, of course, straight over in the Simracersworld Endurance Series the other day.
And you can see in all of its glory, SEC Racing's Craig Jones, of course. Apologies to Craig. It took me 2 rounds to get the team name right, but finally I think I got there. And as we have this nice fight here, we see at the front that the gap is now up to 4 seconds between Ashton and Beard. So this seems to be a good, good pit stop and outlap for him. As Stephen DeWolf, his name just flashed in red briefly. I think he just went wide in the final corner.
He's all right.
Major there, yes. 3rd place for Adam Murray in his beautiful Mercedes. So Mercedes 1, 2, 3, 4, top 7 are Mercedes. Sitting in 4th in overall and in gold is Neil Cooper for Fury. And to find the next gold driver, we have to go down a bit to P8 and find Seb Hawkins, who's having a great run in his Abruzzi Audi. In silver, then, David Fuller is leading the way in front of John Barnes. John Barnes is just behind him, and of course these 2 drivers are teammates. Let's get the... not this, but this, okay? So we can see who is in 3rd, and the gap to the leader is of course John McConville, 6 seconds behind David Fuller. In 4th we have Paul Gosling also for Quantum Racing, and then sitting in 5th is Stephen DeWolf, who we just talked about in just a second ago. Justin Nair then is leading the way for the bronze class and CCTS Esports Racing. As you can see, he is defending from David Fuller. Of course, every position is important this year, and last year as well, for that matter, because points are now assigned based on your overall place, even for the class championship. This makes it even easier for us and you to follow the championships, and more painless to move drivers. Neil Cooper made a little bit of a mistake there.
He was so going to catch Adam Murray as well, but he's going to do very well to close it. Yeah, no chance of closing that gap now. I think 5.6 seconds. He was on course for a podium, potentially Cooper.
So second place is Craig Jones in the bronze class. There he is. 3rd place for Rob Thyssen. There he is. 26 seconds behind the leader, but only 3 seconds away from Craig Jones. And then we have Pimbo, he's sitting in 4th, 3 seconds as well away from the car in front of him, and a bit far behind we have Thijs Vandenberg in his beautiful BMW. Rounding up your top 5 in bronze, as we are back with PJ Claessens.
So Claessens will get Shermans and DeWolf, you'd expect, but then he's got another 5.5 seconds to Ollie Slade, and he's only lapping about a second lap faster than Slade. So yeah, 2 more places for Claessens, who of course had to start from the pits. Won't be, well, he might, I'm trying to think where he'll be in the championship. He'll be 3rd, I think, behind Beard and Ashton after this round. So many points for Van Liesnold to recover now, Mark. I mean, already at this point in the season, I mean, Ashley Beer's put himself into a brilliant position. I mean, Ashton and Clayton's too. I mean, they're going to be so far ahead already of Van Liesnod. And even if Van Liesnod wins every round to the end of the season, I mean, he's going to need a little bit of a favour from those other guys if he's going to come back. I don't know, a long way to go, 10 rounds to go. Inevitably, there will be retirements for other drivers, but Van Liesnod, I think, is going to need a good run of races. Look at the straight line speed for Clayton's. That McLaren, it's good down the straights. He pulls out to the inside. And that's easy enough for PJ Clayton's. One more move for him to make, probably. It's up into 13th. Stephen DeWolf is next. Apparently there are 2 drop rounds. Apologies for that. So Van Liesnod, it doesn't matter, he'll still get a perfect score, potentially, if he wins every round to the end of the season, which you would not put beyond him. But could certainly be tricky for him in that Ford. Of course, new tyre model, as we've said in the past, coming for the next round of the championship. No rounds next week. Gonna be a very boring Wednesday evening, I'm sure. But then after that, of course, lots of races, probably 9 in a row, to take us to the end of the season.
Yes, we will be in Sebring International Raceway on March the 11th. This will be a 60-minute race, and of course, being tied with the special event of the 12-hour race, it will be basically based on that weather, on the weather of the special event. So it's going to be great, I think. Perfect testing ground for the new tire model for these guys. It's going to be great. So yeah, it's going to be a sad week 13. You know, Wednesday nights without SRW, as my meme can testify, are boring. Meme that got a lot of likes on the SRW group many moons ago, after the end of the previous season. I mean, but after that then we go to Watkins Glen, Zolder, Monza, Motegi, yay, full night race,
Oh my
Zandvoort.
god, bloody
And
hell.
here we go, Hawkins deep on the brakes and gets the job done on Barnes.
Yeah, good move from Hawkins. He's been waiting for that one for a while. Frustrating day, I think, for Hawkins, because like I was saying before, he was behind Adam Murray at one point. I don't think he's a whole lot slower than Murray. He's just being kind of shuffled down a little bit. Being put off his momentum a bit. But now up into 7th, back where he started. Only driver in the entire field to be running where he started. And by the way, Motegi at night is atrocious. Not as bad as this place at night, as we found out just over a year ago, where we incorrectly set up the session. Instead of 6 in the morning,
Sorry,
6
who
in the
is we?
evening.
By saying, by
You
saying we,
race. Do you want... shall I explain what happened to you in that race, Marco? Do you
no.
want to go there?
Oh no, you are right.
Yeah,
We
that's what
made
I
a big
thought.
mistake.
Yes.
Still no winner of the Marco Barbanera award in this race, which makes me a bit sad.
No. Steve Clays has just binned it, I think. Or has he just come into the pits? I saw him getting off track, and now I see him in the pits. That's
I mean,
not
he was
very good
having some
signs.
massive... He told in the first few laps, so sadly the event viewer was reporting nothing on him, so I couldn't pinpoint back exactly. It must have been some sort of, you know, accordion effect somewhere up the mountain in the first couple of laps, because he had to tow back very, very early. And basically this ruined this race. And you can see he was having massive damage. Cooper is going very slowly, and Nair is looking at a possible 4th place finish. And I think you are right, coming with week 13 and a week break, maybe a promotion into silver, which he would have won regardless, by the way, if things stay like this. But of course, David Fuller super close to him. David Fuller, I mean, is a couple of minutes away from his best result in a couple of seasons since his rookie season, where he won the title in bronze, getting closer to a fantastic possible top 5. Stephen De Wolf and PJ Claessens are in a fight here. Where is the race leader? So I think we'll have this lap and one more, if my memory serves me right. More than my memory, my calculations serve me right. And two of the veterans are going at it.
Clayson's running wide is Stephen DeWolf.
On the grass, wow!
And Clayson's didn't get a good exit. DeWolf wants to come back. I think a little bit frustrated with the move there from Clayson's. However, it seems fair enough. It was DeWolf who went to the middle of the circuit, gave Clayson's a very tight line. And the BMW cannot come back. So that'll be as high as Clayson's gets then, up into 12th position, up 25 places. Very well done to stay out of trouble today. Ashton 2.7 ahead of Beard. Coming into some lap traffic, when you watch the World GT Championship a week and a half ago, knows where this can go potentially, and he's being stuck behind, goes to the inside, and that was very much miscommunication. He loses half a second. He can afford to lose a few more half seconds. His gap's still at 2 seconds at the moment. 20 seconds further back to Adam Murray, of course, as we move on to the last lap of the race.
Oh yes, Sarella Blanca here in Bathurst, the second round of the season then, as Ashley Beard he is trying to get past, I think that is Kevin De Winter, for what was then known as CCTS Esports, but now is Stage 1 Racing, as we have seen in the endurance round on Sunday, so the name will be updated in time for the next round of the championship in a couple of weeks' time. Still some battles up and down the field, but leaders of their classes. Bronze is Justin Nair, and silver just behind him is David Fuller, who needs just to bring it home to get a fantastic win for his newly minted Quantum Racing team. But Nair wants to get past Cooper, so this is not over, as it is not over at the front. 2 seconds, 1.6 seconds now between the leaders. As Nair is looking every which way. He is not happy with just a class win. He wants to get 4th overall. It's a sign of a great driver, and I think yes, he will be definitely promoted to silver. But of course, this will be in the hands of the race organizers. Back to the race lead then, because there are just a couple of corners left for Jack Ashton, and he's about to get his first career victory in this championship.
Yep, Danny Crows with his first race win in the series last week. And it looks as though Jack Ashton is going to back that up. Only his second race in the championship, and he's driven with superb maturity. Had to make his way up through the order from 5th on the grid. Jack Ashton crosses the line to win round 2 of Season 6 in the DynamiXX Simracersworld GT Championship. It's all Ashton's, and it's all Team Bordzillas. U1 Racing finishes 2nd place. Can Nair get the place on Cooper? No, he can't. Distracted there by, I think it was Mushti potentially off the circuit, or Lennart's, apologies. Well off the track. Murray rounds out the podium for his first podium in the championship, and just about hanging on is Neil Cooper against Justin Nair. Fuller, top of the silver drivers. Nair, top of the bronze drivers. Rest of the guys coming across the line now with Hawkins and Barnes, with Conville and Gosling. Mushti's in a battle. Oh, and Bonus hard into the wall. He'll just cut the circuit here. He will try to get to the end of the race. However, he's going to lose those positions he was fighting for. That must have been a collision with potentially Steinbach fuel. Oh, he's trying to get
that car is not working. Unbelievable. And he's dropping and dropping and dropping.
May as well take the pit entry. That's a shorter run. He's got Byhet. Oh, he's got Byhet miles behind. That should be all right for Boland. So 5 places lost right at the end for him. Not a great start to the season for Boland. I think he got a top 10 too at Daytona, but not a great result today. Here it was.
I think it was all on his own. See from the top
alongside him.
was all sorts of sideways there. I don't think there was contact. If there was, it was a bit of netcode lag contact. But whatever the case, it was a very hard hit against the wall. Let's go board with him. I think he just lost it. By the way, Sam, everyone is home, safe and sound, more or less. Therefore, I think we can go with the final race results for race 2 of the championship.
Yes, and it's Jack Ashton who wins out 1.2 seconds ahead of Ashley Beard for his first race win in the championship. Ashley Beard will be top of the standings with a couple of second places already this season. Adam Moe with his first ever podium started in 9th, finishes in 3rd. There was Neil Cooper, Justin Nair was top of the bronze drives, David Fuller top of the silver drives. Seb Hawkins was in 7th. There was John Barnes, John McConville, and Paul Gosling rounding out the top 10. Behind that was Ollie Slade as a car goes absolutely flying on the jump. I don't know if you can get cameras on this, Marco, but honestly, I've just seen someone do, was it PJ Clayton's potentially, do an absolutely stunning flip. Stephen DeWolf was in 13th place. Here we are. That is majestic. Oh.
Hopefully you can hold on to your dinner by watching this. Yeah.
Now, if he's in VR, then his life is over. Try to reproduce that one. That was lovely with the rebound off the tires. Really good. Apologies for the decals. Nick Sherman's was in 14th. There's Craig Jones, just John Tusting, Rob Thiessen, Stein Van Buell, Dries Mujdi, Pim Bao, Lee Deemer, Ryan Walker, Bod Boland, Theisberg, Kim Byhet. James Hobden was the last driver on the lead. One lap down was Kevin De Winter, Jochen Lennartz. 2 laps down was Steve Clays, and the retirees were James Forstyke, Martin Van Loosnord, Ewan Marshall, Sam Bentham, Tom Metherell, Lee Woodburn, Louis Hank, Kevin Boland, Jeremy Hessels, Dion Phillips, Roland Means, Simon Van Dyke, and Chris Muretta. Really wanted to get through those results quickly so you can actually see the gymnastics from PJ Clayson's. New damage model coming soon, hopefully. Would love to see the states of that car when that is released. So the interviews. Here we're gonna have a chat with some judges haven't changed their names, and if you haven't changed your name, we're not gonna talk to you, obviously. So John UK.
Don't forget, we have another race, I think, going in another, or maybe it's over already on Apex. So.
Oh, well, all these seem to be
from us. Okay.
As well, yeah. They're spread between
two interviews. Yes.
Oh,
this is because Sam Kumo was very rude and occupied the commentators channel 1 tonight, relegating us to the commentator channel 2, which you know, it's a bit sad. It's a bit cramped in here. I don't know. You know, I prefer the other room, to be honest.
Shall we be really biased and just give interviews to the judges who are in interview waiting area 2?
Well,
saying that is the right one.
They were the guys in the correct interview waiting area, but you know, it's you know, yeah. Let's not be bad guys. Let's interview even those in the wrong room.
Well, unrelated to what room they are, this driver is in interview waiting area 2. But we were going to have a chat with him anyway, because it's actually Beard who finished in 2nd place in today's race. Ashley, congratulations! A couple of second places already this season. I believe you're top of the championship now.
A massive surprise, I tell you that now. A massive surprise. I mean, to be honest, I didn't expect pole position. It was just absolute fantastic chance of a slipstream from David, and that got us pole position. And like you say, my teammates were like, "We just got to keep it easy for the race, make no mistakes." So I just played the percentage game, really, knowing that we'd had a good result in Daytona. So we just needed to keep the momentum.
Absolutely. I mean, you were behind Van Loosenord in the opening stages. How tricky was it to keep up with Van Loosenord? You say that you were playing the percentages, but how hard did you have to push to stay within a second of him?
It was a weird one, really, because at the start I thought I can keep with him with this pace. And then I made a mistake, and I thought that's it now. He's just going to drive into the distance, and I won't see him. Then all of a sudden, I just got like a little bit of confidence because I could just see I was creeping up. But with him driving that Ford, I don't know how he does it. It's absolutely incredible how he does it. But I thought the last time I made a mistake, I thought that's it. It was like 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds, and then the next minute I saw him hit the wall, and I thought, freaking hell, my birthday and Christmases have come at once.
Yeah, definitely. And then during the pit stop, it was confusing because I was fully expecting you to have a really quick pit stop. You were behind Ben Leesnor saving a bit of fuel, then you're behind Jack Ashton saving a bit of fuel, and yet you seem to be stationing for a second longer. Did you have a little bit of surplus by the end, or was it just
Uh,
Ashton really saving a lot of fuel across the race?
I'd say it's probably a bit of both. I mean, I was a bit tentative on the pit stop, which cost me probably a few temps. Plus, we did have about half a lap to a lap left in the tank, so it could have made the difference. Plus, coming out of the pits, we got caught up in traffic, which cost us about a second. So we just like you say, it was just unlucky. But to learn for the next race what we need to do. I mean, the pace is there and onwards and upwards.
Definitely. I mean, how new are you to the GT3 cars? I've seen you race loads of times in the MX-5s, and I'm sure you dabbled as well in the TCRs. How do you feel in these GT cars now?
To start off with, it was a daunting task because I got no clue. It's like basically everything you learn in different cars, you might as well just chuck it in the bin and forget about it. But we're joining with year one for this year. We've got a good foundation within the team to actually know what we need to do. We get onto the track, say like 3 or 4 days before, and we just learn the track inside out. So we know where we're braking, where we're putting the throttle, gear shifts, everything. And like you say, it's a learning curve still, but I'm getting confidence every meeting, and I mean, it can only get better, really.
Definitely. Well, you started off the season brilliantly, as I say. I think by my bad maths, you'll be top of the championship going into round 3 of the season. So congratulations, Ashley. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before you let you go?
Well, I'd like to thank first off Year One Racing. I mean, fantastic, just an absolute bunch of fantastic guys. Mark Fletcher. I mean, he's just an absolute ace. Everyone in the race. I mean, congratulations to Jack because I know Jack quite well, and it's just great to have that little bit of battle outside of being teammates, really. And thank you for you guys for doing the stream.
Thank you very much, and best of luck for round 3 of the championship.
Thank you very much. Take care, guys.
So that was Ashley Beard, second place in today's race. Marco, you're not sure on choices. Who are you going to have a chat with next?
I have a chat with David Fuller, finally winning the silver class race. Hello, David. Welcome to the booth.
Hello, guys. I finally broke the curse, Marco, that you placed on us.
I
I
mean,
don't know what you did. I don't know what you did, but I finally shook it off.
mid race, I was talking about how much I was hoping for a good result from you, and then I immediately said, hopefully I'm not jinxing him because this has been a long time coming. I'm sure you are smiling year to year after this race.
Yeah, I am. I am. I just wanted a result, to be honest. I just wanted to finish where my pace was. I wasn't really bothered about fighting much, which is difficult in Bathurst because you can't really let off in the mountain. Otherwise, you'll have somebody up your backside. But yeah, you've probably seen I tried to let Neil through, but he was giving me a bit of space early on. So I was happy for him to go through because I know what his pace is like. And obviously me and John in the same team, we both said at the start of the race he qualified just ahead of us. So it was a case of whoever gets out in front off the start, we're not going to battle each other too hard and just try and work together to pull a gap either way, which seemed to work quite nicely. I had a bit of a rear gunner.
How does this change the perspective on your season? Considering that this must be a great boost to your confidence. Also, considering that, of course, in 2 weeks' time with round 3, things might be a little bit different with the new tire model coming to these cars.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting with the new tire model. I've not really raced anything that's had the new tire model so far. Apparently, it's going to be a bit like the Porsche GT3, but who knows? But as far as results go, I'm just wanting to enjoy it. To be honest, I think last season moving up to silver, I was putting a bit too much pressure on myself. So this time I just want to enjoy it. We've got a good team at the moment. Everybody's got pace, as you can see on the results. I think Sam, he was unlucky with his qualifying. I think he would have beat me and John, but he brushed the wall. So yeah, we've got some good pace in the team. So just happy to get some good results for the team. And I'm not bothered about winning it, but I'm not gonna not try, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Makes perfect sense, David. Well, congratulations once again on this much needed victory. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Just the team really. We'll sort of chip in with not so much setups but practice. We're trying to help each other out. And the other person really is my wife. It's a bit corny, but we're 13 weeks pregnant at the moment with a second child. So
Ooh,
getting time.
congratulations.
Yeah, thanks very much. So getting time to race is a big bonus. I only really got a couple of nights to practice and then one night for the race. So a big thanks to the wife, who won't be watching. So that was worthless.
Well, she can still catch the replay on demand, in just a few minutes. So, but yeah, congratulations once again, David, for both on and off the track accomplishments, and hopefully we'll catch you in a couple of weeks' time then.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks very much, guys. Nice to speak to you again.
And that was David Fuller. Sadly, our overall race winner has not showed up as of yet, Sam, which makes me a bit sad.
Does. However, we do have our bronze class winner and our 5th place finisher. Congratulations, Justin. That was a great performance. I mean, you started in 14th place, but just picked off each driver one by one. Mega consistent drive today.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah, it was a great race for me. Of course, a lot of luck with a lot of people in front of me were going off the track, and yeah, some nice overtakes.
And right at the end, you were battling really hard with Neil Cooper. Looked like a fun battle. A lot of other drivers we've talked to have said how they were very much just going for security, just wanted to finish the race. You seemed pretty aggressive though in those closing stages. You really wanted that 4th place.
No, I was not really fighting for the 5th place. It was just a fun battle. I was just in the beginning of the race. I was just staying behind the pack, and a lot of drivers were going away in front of me, in the wall, or I get past them, and I get a very good pit stop. That's why I go a lot of in the front, because I was in back of some guys. I think I was before I go in the pits P10 or something like that.
Yeah, we saw you come into the pits about 1 lap later than the other drivers. Was it quite marginal to make that 20-second lap, and were you able to save fuel whilst at the back of the pack, as you say, in that first stint?
Yes, the only thing what I do in my first stint was I take the fuel because I was in the back of the pack, so I can spare fuel.
A- And
I
of
was lucky
course,
to in the slipstream or something like that, so I can yeah, I was lucky on that.
definitely. And now we've got a week's break with week 13 coming up. Are you going to have an extra week of practice for round 3 of the championship, or are you going to focus on maybe some other racing?
I'm gonna focus on the next round, maybe do some other stuff racing, but I think I'm going now for full focus on the championship in the bronze class. I'm now winning 2 races, so I will take I hope all the races then we're in front of the championship, of course, and take the team championship for stage 1 racing. That's the most important, not my championship, but the team.
Absolutely. Well, we wish you the best of luck in that one, Justin. Is there any shout outs you'd like to give to anyone before we say goodbye?
Yes, I want to thank my whole team, Stage 1 Racing. I want to thank Simracersworld for the great league, and of course you guys for the great comment there on the stream.
Thank you very much, Justin, and best of luck at Sebring in a fortnight's time.
See you next time.
So I've got time for maybe one or two more interviews, Marco. Who are you gonna talk to next?
Let's see. Let's have a chat with. I suppose this is Adam Murray. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, it is. Thank you for having me on.
Welcome to the booth, Adam. So, well, congratulations on this fantastic podium in what I think was your debut race in this championship.
It was my first, my first finish. Unfortunately, last week I didn't survive Daytona. Lap 1, turn 1, didn't go too well. Got caught up in that mess. But my target for this race was just to finish, and ended up somehow bringing home third.
Okay, so yeah, we can consider this your some sort of a first race, of course, because what happened in Daytona, and man, I mean, great performance, especially in a tough track like this. How was your race? And also, seems like you guys, in a broader sense, you year one guys really have something going on this season. Too bad for James Forsdyke for his crash, but you and Ashley were absolutely fantastic out there today.
Yeah, the racing was really, really close, especially at the beginning. You know, I was just looking to survive. I was kind of racing the races if it was the Bathurst 12 hours. You know, just survive and see what happens. But then I quickly found myself being overtaken, and it was a case of, okay, I'm gonna have to it's overtake or be overtaken. So yeah, the start of the race was definitely hard. I mean, the whole race more or less pushing at 100%. And then in terms of the team, year one, yeah, it's great. Yeah, we used like the Bathurst 12 hours as kind of like a team building exercise. So the three of us were in there. We done a good result there, and I feel like we brought a bit of that momentum from the special event into this weekend.
1 week of break, and then it's Sebring time. Are you looking forward to that third round of the championship?
Oh yeah, definitely. I can't wait. After that result, I want the next race to be up immediately. Just we got the change in time model next time out, haven't we? So it's all up in the air whether setups will work, or whether the way we go about making setups is going to have to change. I mean, I race a little bit of primarily race Formula 3. So I know the new time model is going to be good. It's just whether we can adapt the car quick enough.
Awesome, Adam. Well, congratulations once again on a fantastic podium for you. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Just everyone at the whole team, really. Graham Cresswood for putting us in this series, and Mark Fletcher for helping us out with setups and driving tips, really.
Awesome, Adam. Hopefully we'll catch you in a couple of weeks' time. Enjoy the podium, man.
Thank you very much. See you next week.
Right, I think we will have two more interviews then. So maybe a quick word with our last two interviews. So Neil Cooper finished in 4th position today for Fury Simsport. Neil, you must be delighted. That wasn't necessarily the best start in the world, but you really came into form in the middle part of the race.
Yeah, I'm absolutely shattered. I've never been good at qualifying. It's something I really need to work on to get better. I had a really good practice time, but I just really struggle with qualifying. So started back at 13th, and my goal was just to survive, knowing what Bathurst can be like, and just literally tried to protect my tyres and just take opportunities when they presented themselves, and just found myself slowly moving up the.
Definitely. I mean, how difficult was the overtaking round there? Because what I always say, it's very possible because you got some long straights, but it's always very tricky, always very dangerous to get past. But you made loads of overtakes today.
Yeah, there was a few guys that defended really well, and I didn't want to take any risks. And what I would do, I would try and learn what they would do into each corner, and it would take me a few laps, and then I'd just try and set something up. And it was really important to have the setup, because going down any of the straights, you can find yourself just side by side, and if they have the inside, you kind of have to relinquish, apart from when you come down the straight from Forest Elbow. But I think it was Seb Hawkins I was behind in the Audi, and that was a tough move to make. But I made it, and I managed to get on the inside for turn one, and then just went from there.
And then near the end of the race, you were really catching up to Adam Murray quite a bit. Then we saw you had a bit of a spin at turn one, and after that, your pace seemed to suffer, but you hung on to fourth.
Yeah, I think I think I got a bit. What's going on? I'm up in fourth, and it's just trying to stay calm and focused. I felt like I was gaining on his position, and then I had that little slip, like you said, and I managed to not put it in. That let the other two guys come behind me, and then again I caught. I can't remember what corner it was. I caught part of the wall and had a bit of front damage, and then literally the last four laps, I was just trying to hang on and defend my position and just take fourth.
Well, you did a great job in the end, Neil. Congratulations on your result. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before we say goodbye?
Yeah, just Midas Simulations and the team at Fury. Last season, season 5 was my first opportunity with the team, and they threw me in the deep end, and I've just been trying to push on. And yeah, thanks to those guys for all this.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Neil, and best of luck for Sebring.
Thanks a lot.
That was Neil Cooper, fourth place driver, and I think, Marco, you're going to have the last chat with the driver who finished in 8th position today.
Yeah, I wanted to have a chat with Steven the Wolf, but he disappeared. But thankfully, John Barnes just joined us last second, and therefore we'll have a chat with him. Welcome to the booth, John. Second place in silver behind your teammate, and of course, you also got a nice 8th place overall. Tell us about your night.
Yeah, thanks very much, Marco, and hi, Sam. Yeah, it's been quite a tough night. I had a terrible practice. I just couldn't string a lap together and qualified out of position, much higher than I was expecting. And well, I managed to keep hold of it for quite a while, but my tires went off and I was struggling. So I think, particularly behind me, Seb Hawkins and Justin Nager. Yeah, sorry to those guys. I was so slow towards the end, but very respectful, and they got past eventually. But no, definitely happy to finish after crashing out last week.
Must be delighted that your team is so quick. You almost got a lockout of the podium. Paul just missing in 4th place. Has to be nice, I think. You should to have some good pace in Daytona as well. So I think you guys can be optimistic for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's been very good. I mean, being former Team GB, we used to do a lot of the endurance races. So, given that these are the ones that we do in the 24, 12 hours and so on, we'll be stronger. We'll see where we are through the rest of the season. But yeah, no, the team's been great this season.
I can imagine a tough week of practice for you ahead of the next round because of the new tire model. Are you guys scheduling some testing already for when the new tires are released? And do you think you will stick to your cars or maybe change them for the next round because of the new tire model?
Yeah, that's a very good point. So we haven't practiced any testing yet, but we will do. It's going to be really tough. We'll definitely stick with the Merc. After me and Dave had the Audi last season, we're not going to make that mistake again. I think we'll stick to what we're familiar with. But I've been racing the Porsche Cup, and that's given me a bit of practice. But hopefully, with the new tire model, with the ABS and stuff, hopefully it'll be a bit easier. But we'll see.
You make a very good point, John. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I guess same as everyone, thanking you guys and Ian Roots and all the admins. I know everyone does it, but you do a fantastic job. and also Quantum Racing, because with their support and getting setups, it's all just been fantastic and so much easier moving up the grid. Thanks very much, Marco. Thanks, Sam.
Awesome. Thank you and congratulations, of course, for the great podium, and catch you in a couple weeks' time, hopefully.
Yeah, thank you.
And that was our roundup of interviews, Sam. What was a great, great, great night of racing.
Absolutely. It was a really enjoyable round, very dramatic round, plenty of incidents. Hopefully everyone at home enjoyed it. Of course, if you did, please leave a like on this video. And of course, subscribe to the iRacing Esports Network because there's loads of other action, of course, coming up. And of course, if you don't mind, please do check out Apex Racing TV as well, where we have many more broadcasts like this. And of course, you can check out the Simracersworld Endurance Championship. We broadcast that every month on a Sunday. But of course, elsewhere this week, coming up on Sunday, we have the season finale of the Aussie Mixed and Fixed Aussie Mixed and Fixed GT Championship, which you're going to have to watch on the iRacing Esports Network. Certainly recommend that one. That will be on at 10 GMT. And then, of course, elsewhere on Apex Racing TV, we've got the IndyCar Road Series. Once again, the end of the championship. That will be on Friday evening. And also, on the iRacing Esports Network, we've got the Formula 3.5 Championship season finale. That will be on at 22 GMT on Saturday. And of course, just subscribe to Apex Racing TV, iRacing Esports Network. Then you can see all of the broadcasts. Turn on the bell for the notifications, and you're away and can go. So from me and from Marco, we're going to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time.